some time now.
Yes.
You've been doing some work for some time.
Yes.
What is Justine, Pierre, and your companies,
Yes.
what are your hopes? What are you hoping to see for skilled workers in the reach 5 years from now?
Okay, then that's a very, very good question.
Thank
George.
you.
Okay, what we're hoping to see, George, is that when you go to, let's say, hire someone, let's say, someone to build your house, someone to fix your car, we want to make sure that that person is certified and trained.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, someone wants to, let's say, to build your house. So you said, are you certified?
Mm-hmm.
We check the national NTA. We check Mr. Morgan and say, hey, is this guy certified? And he said, no. If he's not certified, you really should not hire that person.
Mm-hmm.
Because we want for persons, we want education. We want to see as how a nurse, you see a nurse in a blue and white uniform, and you just know that she is at a certain level. We want that kind to be in TVET. So when someone is certified, you know that person can perform a job at a certain function. And that's what we want 5 years now. So that all our tradesperson to be trained and certified to in international standards.
Finally, I should have asked you this earlier on, but we're running out of time now, so let me squeeze it in. When government gives a person a scholarship to go ahead or to go abroad and to study, should the government provide that person with employment when they come back?
Yeah.
He laughed.
Well, this is a very...
You thought the questions were getting easier, right?
Yes. But this is a very, very interesting question because, as I said, I worked with did the employer demand survey in Antigua, and a lot of these questions, people are saying that I went away to study, and I'm back, and the government is not giving me a job. Well, I said, well, why the government should give you a job? The government provide you with a scholarship. That's enough, okay? Because, in fact, the scholarship does not belong to the government. It belongs to the people. So when you come back, I'm saying that your thesis, your research paper should be your source of employment. So when you come back, you should make sure that you find employment. I mean, there are exceptions, of course. But in the main, when you go away and you get a government scholarship, you should not expect for the government to give you a scholarship and then provide employment for you. Because what creates employment, what makes a country grow, is the private sector. You should be able to go in the private sector and create employment for yourself. Not depend, because the government in most of these regions is too large. People are trying to cut the government's, the public service sector.
Lincoln, Justine, I couldn't agree with you more. But let me answer a question you just raised. You said you would ask that person, why should they expect government to give them a job? It's because governments have conditioned people over the years by making them a lot of promises.
Yes.
We have developed something I call the dependency syndrome. Yes. We are paralyzed. We can't do anything without government.
Government, yes.
Horse feathers.
Yes.
But that's because of all the promises that government make. You contaminate the minds of people to believe they must rely on government to do. Okay.
And that is why we are in the state that we are in. We expect too much from government. I mean, this country, Grenada, it's a relatively small economy, poor country. We cannot let the government cannot do everything for us.
No,
we have to. The volunteer, the private sector must be involved. So when I will go away and study, in fact, my thesis, what I do now, it's my thesis. All the research in TVET, and I made a skill out of it. That's what we do. So your project at school, your thesis should be your source of employment. That's what universities are training you. So we should not, George, depend on the government. So we don't want to hear any persons who went away and studied. If you go to China, if you go to Venezuela, anywhere, to say, expect the government to give you a job.
Come back here and do something.
Yes.
Use your brain.
That's it.
Thanks a lot, bro.
Thank you.
Take it easy.
Okay, you're welcome.
All right. Been talking there with Mr. Justine Pierre, who is the Director of Business Development for Dunn, Pierre, Barnett and Associates Limited. We've been talking about the effect of skills education on the Grenadian economy. It's not the first time we've chatted, and I look forward to more in the future. And we'll take a little break right now, and we're going to try and start hooking up with our friends out there around the world right after this.
There is a big difference between ordinary pain